You know, it's funny how just holding something, like something smooth and solid, can be really comforting when you're going through a tough time.
Yeah.
And that actually kind of relates to what we're diving into today, healing stones.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to be looking at how they might be able to offer that kind of support when someone's dealing with grief.
It's interesting, right? I mean, people have looked to nature for healing for like centuries, and stones are just one way to tap into that.
That's true.
Yeah.
So for anyone listening who might be new to this whole idea, what is it about? Like, what's the core idea behind using healing stones, especially for grief?
Well, basically, it boils down to this belief that stones have these unique energies, and those energies can then interact with our own energy.
Yeah.
Kind of like, that feeling you get when you're standing in a forest, that kind of peace. Some people think stones can bring up similar feelings.
So it's not that the stone will magically erase your grief. It's more about having a source of comfort, maybe some strength, during a difficult time.
Exactly. It's like having something tangible, something from the earth that just helps you feel a bit more grounded, especially when everything feels like it's falling apart.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. Now, I know we were talking earlier about specific stones and what they're known for. Could you walk us through some of those?
Absolutely. So there's amethyst. People associate that one with peace and clarity, kind of like a shield against anxiety, which, can be overwhelming during grief.
Oh, for sure.
And some find that just visualizing that while holding the amethyst can be really helpful.
Oh, interesting. So it's not just about the stone itself. It's about the intention and the visualization that goes with it, too.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay. What about rose quartz? I've heard that one has to do with love.
Yeah, self-love, peace, which is super important when you're dealing with loss. Grief can make you feel really isolated, and rose quartz is like a little reminder to be kind to yourself.
Right.
Nurturing your own heart while you're trying to heal.
That's a really beautiful way to look at it.
Yeah.
Now, there's one on this list that I'm not so familiar with. It's called Apache Tears. What can you tell me about those?
So they're actually a type of obsidian, and they're believed to kind of absorb negative energy, almost like a sponge,
Okay.
soaking up some of that emotional turmoil you're feeling.
Interesting.
So you might be drawn to those during a really intense period of grief.
I could see that.
Important to cleanse them regularly, though.
You're right, of course.
It's like you're releasing what they've absorbed.
That's fascinating.
And each stone has its own way of being cleansed. We could get into that later.
Wow, so even caring for the stones is part of the process.
Yeah.
Okay, what about this one? Light. I saw that mentioned as being potentially beneficial for grief as well.
Yeah, Light, or sometimes it's called ruby zoisite, is seen as a stone of joy and empathy.
Okay.
And what's really interesting is some people believe that it can actually help to kind of mend the connection between your heart and your brain, which, that can be really strained after a loss.
Right, because grief isn't just emotional, it's physical too.
Exactly. And Light is seen as a way to help restore that balance. Then there's lepidolite, another stone often linked to calm and harmony, especially at night.
Oh, really? So someone might keep that one, like, by their bed?
Yeah, that's one way to do it.
Right.
But just a heads up, it's pretty fragile compared to some of these others.
Good to know. Handle with care. Now, we've been talking about these stones individually, but you also mentioned creating a personalized set. How would someone go about doing that?
It really is a personal thing. It's about what speaks to you, what you feel drawn to. So, hold different stones, see how they make you feel. Maybe one brings this sense of peace, or another one gives you this little energy boost. Those are good signs.
Yeah, like it's your intuition telling you something. Your body knows, even if your brain doesn't yet.
Exactly. And once you've kind of, found a few stones that feel right, how do you actually use them? Especially during a time of grief. We were talking about some interesting ideas on that earlier.
Yeah, it was about making them part of your daily routine, right?
Yeah.
So carrying them with you, maybe using them during meditation, even just having them around your home. Almost like little rituals in a way.
Yeah, and rituals can be really grounding, especially when you're grieving, because they give you this sense of, structure, purpose, when everything else feels out of control.
Totally. Okay, so let's talk about the elephant in the room when it comes to healing stones. Skepticism.
Mm-hmm.
Because let's be real, not everyone's buying into this idea. It can seem a little out there. What do you say to people who are skeptical about all this?
Oh, totally get it. There's no hard scientific proof that this works. A lot of it comes down to what you believe, your own personal experience. But here's the thing. Even if it's like a placebo effect, that doesn't mean it's not helpful. Placebo is powerful. If you believe a stone can bring you comfort and it actually does, then hey, it's done something good.
Yeah, it's that feeling of hope that something, anything can help. And that in itself can be so powerful when you're going through a hard time.
Totally. You were talking earlier about stones having like different energies and how they can influence us. I'd love to hear you talk about that a bit more. How does that actually work?
So there's this idea, and it's found in a lot of different cultures, that we have these energy fields around us, auras, some people call them.
Right.
And within those traditions, there's this belief that stones, crystals, they have their own unique energies that kind of interact with ours, almost like they're vibrating at different frequencies.
Okay. And some believe that those vibrations, they actually can like change our own energy to, I don't know, get us back into balance or maybe make us feel certain emotions more strongly. So when we say a stone promotes peace or clarity, we're talking about our energy shifting to match that.
That's the general idea, yeah. Like creating this kind of energetic harmony between us and the natural world, which, thinking about it, there's got to be tons of these stones out there. How do you even begin to learn about all the different things they do?
Right. It's a lot.
It can be so overwhelming.
But thankfully, there are a lot of books and websites out there.
Sure.
Even like, experts who can give you guidance. Don't be afraid to just do some research, see what's out there.
Yeah, and like we said, trust your gut. If a stone speaks to you, there's probably a reason. Speaking of stones and what they can do, we haven't really talked about how they might be able to help with some of the more, difficult emotions that grief can bring up.
Yeah, it's not always like peaceful, right? There's anger, confusion, sometimes even guilt. Can stones help with those kinds of feelings too?
A lot of people think so. Like rose quartz, we were saying how it's connected to self-love, but it's also supposed to help with anger, even resentment.
So if you're holding on to anger after a loss, having rose quartz nearby could help you work through those feelings.
That's the idea. Not about pushing those feelings down, but more about making space to heal.
That makes sense. What about when grief leaves you feeling lost, confused? It can really mess with your head. Any stone for that? Amethyst might be good for that. Because it's about clarity, thinking clearly. Supposed to help quiet your mind so you can think straight. And that can be so important when you're trying to make your way through grief,
It's like, it's not just about feeling better emotionally, it's about supporting your mind, too. Which, going through all this, it makes me think, even if someone's unsure about the whole energy thing, just the act of choosing stones, having them around, that could be a form of self-care on its own.
Definitely. There's just something about connecting with nature, whether it's stones or just being outside, it centers you.
It's like a physical reminder to be kind to yourself, to stay present. And those reminders, they mean a lot when you're grieving.
Absolutely, because grief, it's emotional, it's mental, even spiritual. And these stones, whether or not you believe in the energy part, they can be like tools, for taking care of yourself, for feeling connected when things are hard.
That's a good way to put it. So as we wrap up this deep dive, what's the one thing you hope people take away from all this?
If any of this speaks to you, I'd say just go for it. Do some research, go to a shop, hold some stones in your hand, see how they make you feel. You might be surprised.
I love that. Thank you so much for taking this deep dive with us. It's been fascinating to learn about something that's brought people comfort for so long.
It's been great. And remember, grief, it's a journey. And sometimes the things you least expect can help light the way.